Bill O'Reilly here, Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Personal insults fly between Speaker Pelosi and President Trump. 8 in 10 Americans support being given monthly stimulus checks. The Fed says no unemployment benefits for folks refusing to work. Millions of Americans skip mortgage payments. Disney telling tourists, visit at your own risk. Also ahead, how's Georgia doing with the reopening? But first, Nancy Pelosi calling President Trump, quote, morbidly obese after learning he was taking a controversial drug to stave off COVID, adding he should be concerned because of his weight group. Mr. Trump responding, saying, quote, Nancy Pelosi is a sick woman who's got a lot of mental problems. Now, class, let's stop that kind of thing. New poll says 82% of Americans want monthly stimulus checks given to them. An additional 60% back nationwide freezes for student loans, mortgages, and rent payments because of COVID. More than 38 million jobs have been lost since March. The unemployment rate now, 15%. Highest since the Great Depression. The head of the Treasury saying Americans who refuse to return to the workplace will not be eligible for unemployment insurance. Secretary Mnuchin asking business owners to notify the government if furloughed employees turn down work. Economists at the University of Chicago say some workers are getting more money from the government than they would on the job. 4 million American households skipped home payments this month. A report from the Mortgage Bankers Association confirms 8% of all housing loans currently in forbearance. Economists say the number could rise to 15% by next month. Folks traveling to Disney theme parks will be greeted by some scary legal warnings. Visitors will pass multiple signs blaring, quote, by visiting Walt Disney World, you voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure. That's COVID, of course. Disney hoping to avoid lawsuits when the parks reopen on May 27th. In a moment, Georgia's on my mind. How's the state doing after reopening? Right back. Edward and his wife, Margaret, were looking forward to retirement. Edward started having serious health issues a few years before he turned 65 and had to take an unplanned early retirement. The loss of income and medical bills meant Edward could not afford his expenses, including the premiums on a $1 million life insurance policy. Faced with lapsing their policy for nothing, Edward and Margaret turned to Coventry Direct and were able to sell the policy for $130,000. If you own a life insurance or term policy that you don't need or can't afford, Coventry Direct can help you receive an average of 4 times more cash than you'd get from your life insurance carrier. You can even sell a portion of your existing policy and still maintain coverage with no future premium obligations. See if you qualify. Please call 1-800-888-3791 or visit CoventryHelpsSeniors.com. That's 1-800-888-3791 or visit CoventryHelpsSeniors.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. As you may know, the state of Georgia now mostly reopened. Hair salons, barbershops, bowling alleys, they're up and running. Dine-in restaurants, theaters, they're open, but you have to distance. The only thing that remains closed are bars that serve alcohol only, no food. Schools are expected to open in August for the fall term. Now, the press doesn't like that at all, hammering Governor Kemp. So let's take a look at some facts, not ideological hysteria. On May 12th, there were 863 new cases of COVID in the Peachtree State, May 12th. All right. A week later, 299 cases. That's a big drop, despite the reopening. But we have to wait because the stats go up and they go down. They go in and they go out. The most important statistic in Georgia and every other state, how many people are hospitalized with COVID, not new cases. So we really don't know if the reopening of Georgia is a success. We will know next week. But there's no doubt that whatever happens in the Peachtree State, the press will spin it negative. So if anything happens in Atlanta or Savannah or Tybee Island, if people get COVID, that'll be page one. If there is little virus intrusion, that'll be page 36. There's only one major newspaper in Georgia, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. It's a far left operation. So that's what you can expect. Now, what's going on? Why can't the news media report what's happening in Georgia, Texas, California, New York, every state, in a fair way? Why can't that happen? Because Americans need to know about states reopening and how things are handled. Well, it all has to do with Donald Trump. You know that. The left-wing media, some of them anyway, think that the president is worse than the pandemic. So if the American economy stays shut down, Donald Trump's chances of being reelected go down. We've discussed how Joe Biden is not a strong candidate. But what you're going to see going forward is not Joe Biden for president, it's Joe Biden and the entire Obama administration will come back if you vote for the former vice president. That's what the strategy is going to be. So it is worth the press's time to dishonestly report about COVID if it hurts Donald Trump's reelection chances. And that is obvious. I mean, why isn't every member of the American media rooting for a successful reopening in Georgia, right? Don't we want the people in that state to prosper? Don't we want every American to prosper? Don't we want a good economy to come back? Well, the answer is no. Many of us don't. And in the media's case, it is a scandal. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by actually writing it. For more news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com for honest and incisive pandemic coverage. In a moment, something you might not know. When life is in chaos, your home is your safe haven, your most valuable asset. Imagine losing your home to an online scammer. In an instant, you have no place to live, and your home, your security, no longer yours. The crime is called home title theft. It happened to a friend of mine. It's one of the fastest growing crimes in the country, which is why you need Home Title Lock. The title to your home is online, where thieves can find it and forge your signature on a quitclaim deed. It then appears you sold your home. They can borrow against the house and leave you with payments. Your bank and insurance will not cover you, but you can avoid this nightmare with Home Title Lock. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com, register your address to see if you're already a victim. Use code BILL for 30 free days of protection to help you through the crisis. That's code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 50 years ago today, in 1970, more than 100,000 protesters took to the streets of Lower Manhattan to support American troops fighting in Vietnam, not dissent. Demonstrators demanded a U.S. victory in Southeast Asia, carrying signs denouncing Hanoi Lindsay, a reference to the New York City mayor, John Lindsay. They were even showered, the protesters were, with ticker tape from surrounding skyscrapers. The idea of thousands marching in solidarity with the Vietnam War sounds strange today, especially in liberal bastions like New York City, where parades are largely reserved now for sports heroes and national holidays. The American people are currently more divided than at any time since the Vietnam War. The public mostly split down the middle on President Trump's handling of COVID. About 50% disapprove in the latest polls, 45% back the White House. 82% of Republicans support Mr. Trump's response, so he's in pretty good shape going into the Republican convention in August. 12% of Democrats support Mr. Trump's fight against COVID. 12%. Another poll says Americans are concerned about Washington's partisan game playing. 60% see Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is acting solely on behalf of her party, not the people. The Democrats' latest $3 trillion virus relief package is filled with far-left stuff that has nothing to do with the pandemic. Protections for recreational marijuana, amnesty for illegal immigrants, and funding for cultural institutions. One Republican senator called the bill, quote, dead as fried chicken. And here's something else you might not know. While Americans are divided on the response to the COVID, just about everyone agrees it's the biggest challenge facing the USA. According to Pew Research, 98% of Americans now rank the spread of infectious diseases as the greatest threat to the country. International terrorism held that top spot for nearly 3 decades. Before that, the Soviet Union. Now it's a bug. Back after this. Our world has changed when you venture outside. Face coverings are the new normal, and the kind of face covering you use matters. The Boomer Materials 30-day face coverings provide 92.2% antibacterial protection. It's comfortable, easy to breathe in, speak with, and comes in both adult and children's sizes. Not only are the Boomer Naturals face coverings highly rated, but they're affordable at less than 30 cents per day. These Boomer Natural face coverings can be used up to 30 days by hand washing them with soap and water. I recommend you order yours now at boomernaturals.com. Use code BILL20 at checkout. Save 20% every time you shop. Plus, get free shipping on orders more than $50. That's code BILL20 at boomernaturals.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.